first become a Lion?
I became a Lion in 1999. And previous to that, I had been in charge of Little League for 13 years and decided to switch because of a good friend of mine, Lillian Powell, who had been in the Lions Club for 30 some years.
Wow.
So I was excited that she asked.
Okay. So that's why the Lions Club, because she asked.
She asked.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long? I didn't do the math. How long have you been a member?
25 years.
25 years of service.
25 years of service.
Plus the service before that.
As secretary. So I have a great story about that. Jim Simpson, who is a longtime Lion, was the secretary. And they were voting and nominating new officers. And I went to the restroom. Don't go to the restroom during that time. Because when I came back, I was secretary.
That is so funny.
And Jim worked with me for a year on what to do because he was starting to feel ill at that time. He did pass away within that year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he wanted someone to take over. And he said, because you headed up Little League for so long, you can tolerate people in the Lions Club.
Oh my goodness. So what was your occupation or trade or profession?
I was a registered nurse for 45 years, and 25 years of that was hospice care.
Oh my.
6 years of it was newborn intensive care. So,
wow.
And the rest of it, I settled for assisted living. So I kind of did the gamut of taking care of from birth to death.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that's amazing. So what significant memory, a fundraiser, a project, anything that you would like to share about?
Well, of course, our biggest fundraiser has always been the Follies. And working at the Follies and helping out with stage designs and selling was just amazing. And when COVID hit, it was hard after 42 years to not be doing the Follies. And that was, it brought Lions from everywhere, and it was so much fun. And we haven't done it since, so it's kind of been sad.
Is it going to come back?
We don't know yet. The schools have done a lot of changing and revolving, and because of COVID, they really don't want activities in the building yet. And of course, that's where we did our program. So who knows?
Right. Well, it is one of the most amazing projects that I've participated with the Hood River Clubs, because it's such a wonderful
and
program.
You see talented, I mean, you see these gentlemen who are orchardists come in and sing. It's amazing what they did.
Yeah.
You know, because you didn't picture them that way. And we'd all sit there and they'd go, oh, I can't come today because I'm picking pears, but I'll be there tomorrow. You know, it was just like, what?
One day they're picking pears and the next day they're singing their heart out.
So it was just such a group of individuals that you just didn't expect. And then when they were able to bring in the high school choir and drama teams, then it was really a lot of fun.
That's amazing. I would love that story. So what offices have you held? You were secretary?
So I started off as public relations, and I happened back in the day when we had the scrapbook award for state. I won it 7 years in a row, and they told me I couldn't do it anymore because everybody else was quitting.
Oh no! Well, congratulations on winning all
that.
that.
We have on our banner 7 big scrapbook awards from state.
Wow.
And it's always fun for that. And I still have the scrapbooks. I pull them out when we have an event with our Lions Club where we're trying to get new members in and they can flip through and see all the things that we used to do. We don't do a lot of them now, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't bring them back.
Right.
And then obviously secretary. And I was membership chair. And I actually 1 year was president, didn't get to be vice president, just got put in as president. And my secretary quit halfway through the year, so I did both.
Oh my.
that was probably the hardest thing I did, was trying to keep up with the secretarial part and doing the president part at the same time.
That is a lot.
It was a lot of paper shuffling, I'll tell you that.
Wow. And then what words of wisdom would you like to pass on to our younger Lion members?
I think the biggest thing is to get involved in something that you love to do. Don't feel like because you're in the Lions Club, you have to do this, or you have to get involved in this. Pick something. There's so many different things. Pick something that you really want to do and go for it.
Right. Kind of like your scrapbooking.
Yeah. Well, right now, my big thing is I do the 4th of July parade. I've done the float, I can tell you, for 25 years. I packed that big lion everywhere. I could tell you, I took it down to here to the coast to my friend who is the taxidermist to have it cleaned up and redone. And the Astoria Lions Club tried to steal it 4 times.
Oh, wow.
And they ended up having to chain it to the table, because every time the guy would go in the back, he'd come out and there'd be an Astoria lion trying to walk up with it. Little thieves.
It must be an amazing lion.
It was purchased in 1962 from Walt Disney Studios. And it was on display in the jungle when they had the Jungle Book. So it's, 8-track tape, much older specimen, lots of fun to hang around. But that was quite a trip bringing it down here to get it all cleaned up, because we stored it in the morgue because it needed a cold temperature storage. And the gentleman that had the funeral home owned the funeral home, and it was in our club, and so he stored it in his morgue.
Wow. Wow. And I bet our younger Lions would probably love to see that.
So I can't tell you how many people call up and say, can we borrow your lion? No. You cannot. I'm sorry.
Well, you want to preserve it.
Well, it's pretty delicate, but it's also pretty large. In order for me to bring it down here, I had to stick its head out the window from the passenger side. And coming through Portland was quite interesting. I can tell you, a lot of people have looked. They're like, what is that woman doing?
I could just imagine.
And you can plug it in, and of course it moves its head and opens its mouth and wags its tail and does everything. And at a quick glance at 65 miles an hour, you're not sure what it is.
That's great. Well, after all your years of service so far, and I'm sure many more years of service to come, how would you like to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as somebody who really was an active Lion member and tried to promote it. I think it's important that if you can't make the meetings, that you do the projects. Meetings are meetings, and you can send that information out in an email, which I do every week anyway, what goes on at the meetings and stuff. But I think showing up at the projects is what it's all about. And that's what I encourage people to do, because a lot of people work and we meet during the day, and it's like, but I can call them up and say, hey, I need you to come help me on this on Saturday. Okay, I'll be there.
Right.
And I think that's important.
And that's where some of the magic happens, is at the projects.
Well, it's getting together and doing things. And, we work with a lot of different groups. In fact, we're partnering in September with Rotary for a project.
Good.
And the high school shop class, we're making bunk beds.
Wow, that sounds like a wonderful project.
The high school kids are really excited to have the templates and be cutting all the wood, and Rotary's excited to help us put it together.
Wow, that sounds like an awesome project. I can't wait to see the results of it.
We hope so.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your many years of service.
Sure.